All right, a very good afternoon to parents. Welcome to our e-open house. Okay, this segment is the virtual booth for creators program. All right, so let me just do a quick introduction about myself. All right, students know me as Mr. K. All right, and I'm the head of department for info communication technology. All right, this is a program for the day. All right, so after this this very quick welcome, I'm going to share with you a very short video clip about what AHS Creators Program is all about and how your child can actually benefit from this program. All right, so after this is done, I will get two of my Sec 2 students to share with you their experience. All right, Xian Yi as well as Harriet. Xian Yi is actually an alumni from Pui Ching School, as Harriet is actually an alumni from Kong Hua. Right, so after the short sharing by the two girls, we will open up the floor or this chat room to, as in this Zoom meeting, for you to ask questions. All right, so you are free to unmute yourself and ask questions. Okay, you can direct the questions to myself, or you can ask the two girls in particular about their experience in Anglican High School. And then also alternatively, you may want to post your questions that you have on the Zoom chat if you prefer that method. All right, so well, we will try to answer all questions, but in the event that we are unable to do so because there are too many questions, well, then may I trouble you to email your questions or your queries to the email that you're seeing on your screen right now, which is ahs@moe.edu.sg. Okay, so without further delay, just sit back and relax and then watch a very short clip about 4 minutes about this thing called AHS Creators Program. All right. All right, thank you very much, parents. Okay, once again, welcome to the virtual booth for creators program. Okay, so what we have just watched is just a very short video clip about AHS creators program and what we do over there. All right. Okay, now, so may I now have the honor to invite our Sec 2 students, all right, Cindy as well as Harriet, to speak to you, all right, to share with you their experiences going through the AHS creators program. Okay, may I invite Cindy, please? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. T. Good afternoon, parents and teachers. I'm Cindy from class 2022G. I'm here to share my key takeaways from the AHS Creators Program and AI curriculum. I enjoyed the different programs provided, especially the microbit workshop and the Python class in AI curriculum. I learned how to program my microbit to work in many different ways, and it became my path to creativity. I used it to bring alive an idea I always had to help the elderly who had dementia to find their way home. Using microbit and the help of a few friends, I managed to make a microbit watch that had a simple communicating function. The program and curriculum not only provided me a new hobby, but also prepared me for the future of technology, with bigger advantages and opportunities. All of these chances were only here because of AHS Creators Program and AI curriculum, and I'm thankful for it. Thank you for listening, and now I will pass it over to Harriet.
Okay, thank you, Sini. Okay, so good afternoon, parents. I'm Harriet, who is previously from Anglican High School, and I'll be moving to Sec 3 next year. And I'm here to share with you about a few learning points that we can take away from iScore2 and the Creators Program. Okay, so a few learning points that AHS students can take away from the lessons and the workshop sessions are how to use different equipment in the school workshop, such as the sander and an even bigger catch, the 3D printing machine. As we all know, technology is ever changing and fast and has a very fast moving pace. So with the ever changing and fast moving pace of innovation in technology, iScore2 and the AI lessons expose the students to coding in Python and even allows them to work with the microbit, coding their own programs, creating products to help others and prepare them for the future of technology. The Kickstarter workshop then teaches the Sec 2 students on how to digitally market the products that they have made in iScore on popular platforms such as YouTube and Instagram. Most part of the iScore2 program, which will be held in Sec 2, focuses on innovation, creativity, and hands-on ability. However, while doing that, we do not forget to give back to society. Some good products made by groups of students will be then sent to people who need them to make their lives easier. If these products receive good feedback, they will then be mass-produced. And iScore2, it teaches students how to create a prototype by drawing the prototype of the product they'll be making in Sec 2. All this starts with the empathizing of consumers, which will help students to empathize with people better, hence creating value for others. Going through the cycle of empathize, define, ideate, prototype, and test, which is a crucial cycle in creating products. All these skills that students are able to take away from iScore will be of great help in life, including career choices, hobbies, and interests. It may even allow students to have a head start amongst their peers, helping them to also match with the fast-moving pace of technology, hence being future-ready. Personally, I have been quite interested and intrigued by coding and the process of creating my own product, which has never been released in the market. iScore2 and the AI lessons helped me a lot, where I'm able to find out and learn more about the world of coding and the process of making a product from scratch. They also taught me how to solve the problems better. All these are something that I would not have been able to learn and do without iScore2 and AI lessons. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, Harriet, for your sharing. All right. Okay, parents, now we are moving on to the last segment or the next segment. All right, there's a Q&A session. So please feel free to unmute yourself and ask questions. All right. Alternatively, you may want to post your questions in the Zoom chat box. All right, and we can respond to them accordingly. All right. So, well, the time is open to you. Anyway, while you're thinking of the questions, let me just quickly do a very quick summary, all right? So basically, AHS, we built computational thinking in students via the following modes, as you can see on the screen. All right, so AHS Creators Program is actually a program which encompasses a few things that you can see on the right side of your screen. We talk about design thinking, in particularly two main subjects, I-Score 1 and 2, as well as we also talk a little, and we have, in fact, AHS have our own AI curriculum, because we do know that artificial intelligence is actually gaining more and more in terms of importance. All right, and it is good to equip our students with at least some basic coding, Python skills. And that's the reason why we actually started rolling out the AI curriculum, in fact, just this year from 2021. All right, so okay, so this slide somehow summarizes what we do in Anglican High School for Creators program. Okay, so may I invite questions from parents? If there's any question that you have in mind, please feel free to unmute yourself and ask. Alternatively, you can post your questions on the chat box, and we can respond to that accordingly. All right, thank you. Okay, and anyway, while we're waiting for questions to come in, maybe Harriet, you want to share with parents, right? Because I think from past experience, the parents that I spoke to, usually they are quite concerned about the topic of higher Chinese. They feel that, or rather they are concerned that their child may not be able to cope with higher Chinese. So since you are taking higher Chinese yourself, you want to share with parents, how do you find the subject? Is it difficult to cope? Do you have any strategies of coping that you can share with your juniors, your incoming Sec 1s?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Tay, for the question. So personally, as someone who has been taking higher Chinese since primary school, I would say that secondary higher Chinese is actually harder than primary school higher Chinese, obviously, but it's not really a very big leap, other than the fact that the compo have become like 60 marks instead of 40. So personally, I would think that I've been coping pretty well with higher Chinese personally, because so far my results have been quite okay, not bad. So some strategies I would actually like to share that I could use to cope with higher Chinese was to more along the lines of cultivating my love for that language. So I would go and watch some Chinese dramas. Obviously, parents might think that, oh, watching TV is just a waste of time and stuff like that. But actually, if you watch Chinese shows, your master of that language, it may help in the mastering of that language also, and might also help cultivate your love for that language. And obviously, language, Chinese basically is a language, and language takes up a lot of everyday piling up and basically love and enthusiasm. So I feel like you have to read, you have to watch dramas, find something you love in that language, find something that sparks what you like about that language. And personally, in AHS, the Chinese teachers are actually very enthusiastic. They are very willing to help. Personally, my Chinese teacher have stayed back one day before the exam just to help us teach us more about the curriculum and help us learn more, do more last minute cramming in a sense. So I feel like that actually helped me a lot in the exam actually. So yeah, so I think that AHS actually is a not bad place, a quite good place to learn Chinese. And I think Chinese is more of cultivating a love for that language and having a good teacher. Yeah. But all of the teachers here are good, so it's fine. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Harriet, for sharing that. Yes, we do have very lovely and caring teachers in Anglican High School. Okay, anyway, we have another question that comes in. Creators program, is it throughout the 4 years in AHS? Actually, no, it's actually a 3-year program where you will try to integrate design thinking, computational thinking, as well as AI curriculum together. Well, we usually try not to involve the Sec 4 cohort because for obvious reasons they are taking their O levels. So not that this is not important compared to O levels, but the program is designed in such that the 3 years they will learn all that is needed, in order to develop the computational thinking aspect of the students. So what AHS promises parents is that, well, in the 3 years, in the 4 years that we have that your child is in Anglican High School, the first 3 years we will make sure that your child goes through minimally 50 hours, 50, of either computational thinking training or design thinking training. All right, so that's like our promise to parents, because we do know that as we evolve around the times, the computational thinking literacy is actually gaining more and more in importance compared to, let's say, 5 to 10 years ago, right? So that is the reason why we are going in this direction. All right, so thank you very much for the question. I hope I answered your query. Okay, do we have any other questions coming in, parents? Okay, maybe while waiting for the next question to come in, may I invite maybe Sandy, you can just share with us, right, or share with the parents, what's a typical day in AHS, what is it like? What if let's say their son or daughter actually enters Anglican High School, what is it that they expect? Is a day long? What's a typical day like? Right? Can you just share with parents very quickly?
A typical day in AHS usually starts with a morning assembly, where we sing our national anthem and say our pledge. After the assembly, usually there's announcements after that, and then our compulsory 15 minutes of silent reading. After the silent reading is when our class officially starts. After that, usually after 4 to 5 periods, we have our recess. And if the day is a bit longer, we have our lunch after 4 to 5 periods. Sec 1 and Sec 2's days are usually shorter. It's only until Sec 3 where it starts to be longer and it starts staying back for all the necessary subjects and schoolwork. Okay,
thank you very much, Jenny. All right, just to clarify, in case parents you were wondering, right? Okay, we do have a reading program, all right, in the beginning of the day, because we believe that we want to start it right for the kids. So, and we also realize that, unfortunately, somehow when the kid grows older, he or she somehow doesn't read as much compared to when he or she is younger. All right. So what the school has done is that we try to implement a reading program where on selected days the kids are supposed to read Chinese language articles or books, whereas on certain days they are supposed to read English books. So in an attempt to actually level up their literacy in the languages. All right. So well, the day is typically longer for upper secondary school students, because even though they have lesser subjects, all right, most of the students in Anglican High School, they take about 8 subjects in Sec 3. All right, so even though they have lesser subjects, about 1 less, the typical Sec 1 student will take about 9 subjects, including the non-examinable ones like I Score 1, all right, which is a subject curriculum innovation in place of food and consumer education. So in AHS, we don't have graduating classes for FCE, that's food and consumer education, as well as design and technology. But in place of these 2 subjects, we have our signature program, I Score 1 and 2, that trains people up on the design thinking aspect. All right. So, well, upper sec students, they have about 8 subjects, but their days are generally longer and around 3:30, because we usually go slightly deeper in terms of the different subjects that the students are studying for. All right. So just to clarify that out in case you are wondering. Okay, I do have another question, that is AHS stronger in science and tech? What about areas of development for humanities, art, and music? Okay, to be very honest, I don't feel that we are stronger in science and tech. we are actually equally strong in terms of humanities, arts, and music. Anglican High School, we have a group of students offering art as well as higher music as a arts-based subject in upper secondary. All right. In fact, our humanities is actually quite well known as well. Science included. All right. But technology-wise, not really that advanced yet. Even though we are trying to level up in terms of our the students' competency in this area, because we realize that especially computational thinking it is gaining in importance. In fact, people were, a lot of research papers were talking about coding being the new literacy that kids have to understand and go through. Yeah, so I would say that in terms of technology, that's a new area that the school is exploring. All right, and we are exploring that because we believe that being efficient, being competent in terms of computational thinking, it will actually give our students an edge over the rest, over their peers, next time around. Okay, next question I have is that if a student shows talent in the creators program, do we have advanced courses or we bring them to competition? Okay, that's a positive. All right. First and foremost, in 2023, we are actually rolling out computing at upper sec. All right, so we will have similar to higher music as well as art. We will have a select group of students taking computing at O level starting 2023. And I would say that when we apply for this program, the Ministry of Education sees that we are doing good work in terms of this area, in the technology area, which was why they actually gave us the green light to proceed. Okay, so yes, and also we do have competitions, microbit competitions, etc. That stretches this kind of that stretches students in this area. In fact, prior to COVID, we, as recent as 2019 November, I actually brought a group of students to Taiwan, Hsinchu City, all right, where we collaborated with Tsinghua University. So the kids, when we went over there, we shared at the international conference, which was organized by the Tsinghua University, and at the same time, we joined a few other so-called high schools in Taiwan in terms of the competition. All right, so there's definitely room for development under this creators program that your child is going through. Okay, so may I just ask, are there any more questions?
The creators program does not work something like CCA. We have about 1 hour of the lesson every single week, because we have to add up to a total of 50 hours by what the school promised.
Yeah, okay, thank you, Sei. Now, it's not exactly like a CCA, because first and foremost, Creators Program is actually designed for the entire cohort of Sec 1 and 2 students, all right, for all the lower Sec students. So based on this model, we will have some form of selection in a sense, where students who show a little bit more amplitude, show a little bit more interest, etc., we will shortlist these students for competitions, be it local or overseas competition. Of course, in the current pandemic, we can only look at local competitions for now. But there's always this possibility that we can extend this to a bigger group and to further away, in terms of overseas competition. All right. In fact, for what we have done for the Sec 2 cohort is that we used to have this China immersion program. all right, where about 120 Sec 2 students were selected to go for a China immersion. So, well, China immersion is slightly different from what we have done in the past. Okay, previously we visited schools in China to see to give this exposure to the kids, especially to help them to understand, the culture, the Chinese culture, and it actually helps them to appreciate higher Chinese a little bit more. But other than this, recent years, around 2019 latest, all right, what we have done is that we actually visited some of the tech startups over in China. All right, so the kids, they were very amazed by even very things like Hema Taoshi. It's a supermarket that doesn't really have human so-called sector related. So everything from the purchase, from the cataloging and stuff, it is all done by technology. So I think this kind of exposure will actually help students to appreciate not only the Chinese culture but also technology. To see how technology is being leveraged upon in order to make everyone's life better and more efficient. Yeah. So these are all the different so-called programs that we have ready for our students, and we are hoping that we can actually resume that very soon. We have paused it for the last 2 years, 2020 and 2021. So we are hoping that the current situation will get better, and 2022 we can actually restart our programs so that students can learn a lot more outside of their textbooks and classrooms. All right. So, okay. So parents, any other questions that you may have? Okay, I'm also watching the time as well. So I think we still have time for one last question. If any of you have anything that you would like to clarify. Okay, I think parents, you may also be keen about CCA, because I think CCA is something that is quite different from what your child has experienced in primary school. All right. Unfortunately, CCA is compulsory. All right, in secondary school, not only for Anglican High School, but in secondary schools as in general. Simply because I think we believe that it is actually developing your child in a holistic manner, not only in the area of academics, but in other aspects, like leadership, resilience, so on and so forth. And I think these are very important values that we'll want your child to learn. All right, and we do that via all the CCA programs that we have. All right, so Anglican High School, we have about 22 CCAs. It's divided into uniform groups, clubs and societies, and sports. All right, so well, maybe I get one of the girls to quickly share with you their experience, what their experience are like in the CCA, okay, so that at least you can take it as a form of reference for consideration. Okay, maybe can I invite Xianyi to share with parents, what's your CCA and roughly what's the commitment like for your CCA? Okay, Xianyi, please.
I came into Anglican High by DSA through Wushu. So my commitment to the CCA is that I have to attend almost practice. Practice after competition is usually 2 times a week, but before competition, when the competition period is nearing, it's 3 times a week. I attend competition and try my very best so that I can get good results from my competition, and then get back good for the school also. It's quite fun. The seniors are quite engaging as well. So even though we are having tough training, we're also having fun at the same time.
Okay, thank you very much, Xianyi. So do you enjoy your CCA?
Yeah, I enjoy CCA.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, parents, just to clarify, Anglican High School is similar to other secondary schools. CCA is compulsory. So what we do is that every week, Friday is a CCA day in a sense. Okay, so students are expected to stay behind, slightly in terms of the timing. All right, so they will actually stay behind for their CCA on Fridays. So that's like the designated day for CCAs. On other days, it will depend whether like what Jenny has mentioned, are you all going for are they going for a competition, or are there other commitments and so on and so forth. All right. So generally for a Sec 1 child, the first the CCA that he or she will be joining, right, will most of it take place once or twice a week maximum. All right. Other days will actually include as in how early or how late your child is going to be. On other days will include the fact whether is he or she involved in remedial lessons, right, in what we call learning support program that we have in Anglican High School. All right. Okay. We have one last question. How is the Creators Program different from the Talent Development Program? Excellent question. All right. Now, I would say that they are quite similar. Okay, when we talk about Talent Development Program from my colleague, all right, I'm sure you have heard that term when you visited some of the virtual booths just now. All right, Talent Development Program is actually targeted at specific group of students. This is the group where we have identified, in terms of whether is this, let's say, for example, your child is very strong in science. So we will sort of select him or her to be involved in this group called the Science Talents. So Science Talents, they will have specific developmental kind of plan given to them, in the sense that we want to stretch this group of students because they are basically more able in that sense. All right, it's more able. So, and yes, you're totally right. The talent development program is actually quite subject-based. So we have a group of math talents, we have a group of English talents, so on and so forth. Whereas the Creators Program, we are running it for all the lower secondary students, lower sec students. All right. So Creators Program basically it reaches out to everyone, but of course in time to come, we do hope that we can have a select group of computing talents. Yeah, if that's what you call it. Yeah, we are working towards that direction. Yeah, because Creators Program, as I shared just now, is still something relatively quite new. We started in 2018, yeah, with computational thinking and design thinking, and then we actually have AI curriculum on board only this year, 2021. All right. So yeah, we do hope to work towards the target where one day we can, we can tell parents that, well, welcome to Anglican High School. We have a group of computing talents waiting to share their insights, their experiences with you. Yeah. So that is our dream, and I know that we are reaching that pretty soon. All right. Okay. Now, I'm also well aware that we have overrun the time. I'm very sorry for that, parents. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us today. All right. Indeed, it is our honor to be able to share with you the programs that we have. And yeah, may I just invite you to just do a quick scan of the QR code to give us some feedback, which we will value a lot, so that we know how we can improve from here. All right. In any case, if you still have any questions, please feel free to drop an email to us, to the school. The school will direct the query to the respective teacher in charge, and we will get back to you. All right. So once again, congratulations to the good results that your child has gotten for your PSLE. I know it has been a very stressful period, after the PSLE. Now it comes the time of selecting a secondary school for your child. Well, indeed, it is tough, yeah. But I do hope that yeah, you can I mean, you all can find that Anglican High School is actually a good fit for your child. All right. So with that, thank you very, very much. And any questions, please feel free to let us know. All right, via email. Okay. Thank you very much. Bye.